104.5 The Team, your home for New York Yankees baseball. A little under the weather, but there's no way I was missing this call. Buster Olney with us. Buster, what do you think of Aaron Jeter, or should I call him Derek Judge?
Oh, my God. Yeah, you ready to build a monument for him, right? Or maybe you're just going to tell him to cut marble on his own because he's that big and he's that good.
I just put 99 on my fence out back. I retired it already.
He looks great. There's no doubt about it. If you look at all the metrics about his start, and you think about the changes that he tried to affect during the offseason, you think about the fact that now he can every day consult with Matt Holliday, who's another big guy who's trying to figure out how to hit, and you see how effective he's been. Absolutely, you get the feeling this is going to keep going. And I mean, the idea that the Yankees are playing this well without arguably their two best players in Sanchez and Didi, is a tribute to the depth of the team, and I think a lot of that is how good Aaron Judge has been this season and how dangerous he's going to be. And he's quickly becoming one of those guys who all of his at-bats are must-watch because you're wondering how far he can hit the ball.
Buster, it's funny you brought up Holliday because, you were on the show. You credited him with one of the reasons that Judge has been able to fix his swing, and now Holliday and Bird can't fix their swings. Is that just baseball, or is something going on?
Well, with Bird, I can speak more to Holliday than I can to Bird. I just feel like the Bird is, at some point, he is going to get out of the funk and he'll move on. When you watch how Rick Porcello pitched to Matt Holliday last night, and I don't mean this, he disrespected him personally, but professionally he kind of disrespected him by basically challenging him with fastballs. And Matt Holliday last night didn't have any answers for that, and it will be interesting going forward, if you see other pitchers do the same approach with Matt, where they're just like, you know what, we don't think you can hit a good fastball, and we're coming after you. It's not like Rick Porcello, by the way, is Noah Syndergaard in how hard he throws. So I am curious about where Matt is on that, and if there's an adjustment to come from him, because certainly you're seeing pitchers adjust to him.
The pitching side of it for the Yankees, Severino looked strong last night, gives up 3 hits, 7 innings strong. When can we really realize this pitching staff, top to bottom, is for real for the rest of the season?
Yeah, and there's no doubt. And Severino, to me, is the key, right? Mm-hmm. Because, you figure Tanaka is what he is. He's most of the time he's going to be really good. Sabathia has turned that corner, as we've talked about in the past. He's made the transition into a guy who could make his stuff work. But now, Severino is realizing the talent they had for him. And I kind of wonder now, with the benefit of 20/20 hindsight, if the Yankees' handling of him, where, going into the spring of 2016, it was like, okay, one of the spots belonged to Severino. And this spring it was more of, you know what, you're going to have to earn it. And you're going to have to make adjustments, and you're going to have to learn how to, throw a fuller range of pitches. If that helped develop him and, put pressure on him to make those kind of changes.
Buster Olney with us right now, 104.5 The Team. Buster, if there was one speed bump last night, hiccup, it was Chapman, 33 pitches to get out of the inning, and then he held his arm a little bit. Are we hearing anything about that?
I haven't heard anything specifically. I will tell you that I watched that outing last night and thought it was weird looking. And so I'm curious to see what we hear from Joe Girardi and the Yankees today, whether it's today or tomorrow, because as you watched that outing play out, it was clear his velocity was down significantly. I was looking at 96, 97, and he began to try to mix in some sliders, which are really not very good. They were kind of cement mixers rolling up there, and the length of the outing, we saw last year during the World Series and what Chapman said afterward. Maybe he's just not comfortable once you get above 20 pitches, and he doesn't feel right. And so maybe once that inning got very long, he just, at the end of it, was just checking the parts, so to speak, when he was reaching for that biceps.
Buster, now there's something wrong with the Red Sox. They just don't look themselves.
They don't, and it's because they don't hit for power in the way that they did with David Ortiz. And maybe we underrated what the departure of Ortiz meant, because last year he probably was one of the 3 best offensive players in baseball at like 86 extra base hits. You take him out of the lineup and think about these numbers. Out of 30 teams in baseball, as of today, the Red Sox rank 30th in home runs. The Boston Red Sox rank 30th in home runs with 11 home runs. They've been out-homered in Fenway Park 11-5, okay? When's the last time we could say that about a Red Sox team? And Hanley Ramirez off to a slow start, and you think that there's a chance he'll come back. And some of the other guys in that lineup, they certainly have depth. I just don't know if they're ever going to be able to be as dynamic as they were last year when they led the majors in runs scored by about 100 runs, which created such a significant margin for error for them. That's probably something they're going to have to work without this year.
Levack looks so depressed now hearing all of that.
I just feel terrible
wow,
for them.
He looks so upset, Levack. Yeah.
Buster Olney with us right now. 104.5 The Team.
Before Levack starts dancing around the studio, we're going to move away from the Red Sox and move to the New York Mets. Noah Syndergaard, tired arm. What's the status with him going forward?
Boy, and we need more information before I can give you a real read on it. But for that to happen this early in the season, and now when you think about the machinations they've had the last couple days, with Robert Gesellman and flip-flopping, this is obviously something that has been on the front burner in recent days. And look, the Mets are only going to go as far as their starting pitching takes them because they don't have a great offense. They're not going to have a great offense. Their defense is, generally speaking, pretty terrible, and that's not going to change. They have to have dominant starting pitching. And if you take Noah Syndergaard out of there, then a team that probably is on the edge in a playoff chase with the Nationals looking so strong suddenly is a different-looking team, and I think we'd probably start to feel differently about them. I hope, because there's nobody else who's more fun to watch in baseball now, especially with Bumgarner sideline. I hope Syndergaard's okay, and it's just a question of some early season arm fatigue.
Buster, it's funny you mentioned the Nationals, and I'm actually at the point right now where I'm wondering if the Yankees can even afford future Yankee Bryce Harper.
Boy, the price tag's going up every day, right? With how he's performing, going into the Nationals game on Thursday, he's hitting .432. His on base percentage, I think, is .545. And I wrote a piece on ESPN.com in which I, basically posed the question of, is this the best Bryce Harper we've ever seen? And I think absolutely the answer is yes. When you look at some of the factors at play, like chasing pitches out of the strike zone. This year, it's the best he's ever been. If you look at things like contact rate within the strike zone, it's the best he's ever been. Swing and miss rate, the best he's ever been. And I just wonder if he's in a different place mentally. I think we talked last year about how when Bryce Harper was taking batting practice before games, he was doing it all indoors. And you talk to the Nationals about it and said, look, he feels like he's not getting as much work done as he needs to. There's distractions when he's outside. You get, and probably idiot reporters like me going up and asking him for a moment. The fans are yelling at him. He's reacting to the cheers and the boos when he drives the ball. But I kind of wondered if that was a sign of how stifled he was. This year he's hitting outdoors. He seems much more comfortable. He seems much more loose. And after he took BP outside the other day, I asked one of the folks with the Nationals, hey, why do you think this is happening? As well, I think he just feels better about himself. And, man, it's showing in the results.
Harper's going to be worth a lot of money in the future, but maybe not as much as the Miami Marlins franchise overall.
Amount,
maybe you think about $1 billion?
Yeah.
Miami Marlins, the bid there with Jeb Bush and Derek Jeter. Are they going to be the owners, or are some things moving around right now?
Oh, I think they're going to wind up being the owners. And I think to the point that no matter what happens, let's say there was a complication and Jeb Bush, either had a reduced role or didn't have any role at all. I think Major League Baseball, and we've seen them do this when teams are up for sale, they'll take one of the people involved in one bidding group and they'll mix and match them with another bidding group. And I think we talked in spring training. I wrote a piece in early March saying that absolutely Derek Jeter was a perfect solution for the Miami Marlins, a perfect owner for them because he brings instant credibility. And it's not only for the Marlins a rebranding, it's a rebirth. Because right now there's, you have a lot of baseball fans in South Florida basically in recent years have decided, you know what, I'm never going to see the Marlins as long as Jeffrey Lurie is the owner because he does not have a good reputation. If he sells the team and Jeter becomes the face of the franchise, the captain, one of the few baseball players who seems to have built a national following, I think the team would be looked at very differently. I think it's absolutely a perfect fit.
Buster, where's the Buster Only Traveling Roadshow going this weekend?
At Fenway Fenway Park. We'll be looking for some Red Sox homers on your behalf, and they're playing host to the Chicago Cubs on Sunday Night Baseball.
I mean, if you don't find any, I won't be upset. You realize that, right?
I gathered that.
Buster, I hesitate to go here, but you are always so good on our show, and we appreciate you. And I know it's been a tough week for you and everybody at the mothership.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, it really has been, and some really good people have moved on, and obviously thinking about their families and thinking about them.
Buster, you are the best, and we love you, brother, and look forward to watching you this weekend at Fenway. Maybe the only reason I would tune into Fenway if the Yankees aren't there.
Thanks, guys.